What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, welcome if it's your first time here. Well, it finally happened last night. Iran actually attacked Israel from Iranian soil onto Israeli soil. It wasn't the proxy we've been seeing with Hezbollah and Hamas working for Iran. It was a direct attack from Iran on Israel. Now, what happens next? That will depend on what Israel decides to do. If Israel decides to counterattack, then it could escalate even further. So it's difficult to say what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm just going with my opinion, and probably nothing else right now, at least for a few weeks. I think it will escalate eventually, but I think they will wait for a little while now to have any counterattack. But we did learn, I could be totally wrong, that's just what I get the gut feeling right now it's going to be, that they're not going to do anything right now because they have their hands full, in Gaza. And the United States, from what I've seen, is calling for, the ceasefire. Iran has came out and said that we're even, we're not going to attack anymore. You attacked us in Syria or consulate, and we attacked you here, so now we are done and even. So more than likely it will cool down just for a little bit, for a few weeks, and then pick back up again when something else happens, most likely. I mean, Israel could attack Iran in a couple of hours, who knows? But my gut feeling is they're going to wait for a few weeks till something else happens to justify, a direct attack on Iran. But we did learn that Iran is either much weaker militarily than we thought they were, or Iran didn't really want to do much damage inside of Israel because of the way they attacked. I've been hearing for several years now that Iran has hypersonic missiles. I've also heard that Iran already has nuclear weapons. So, taking out the nuclear option, the hypersonic missiles would have been the best way to go. And instead, they used, 100 and something drones and some cruise missiles that could easily be shot down by, the Israeli Defense Forces, and the Iron Dome United States was helping them to shoot those things down. And they sent out the drones first. And from what I've read, it took between 6 and 8 hours, depending on where those drones were launched from, for those drones to get from Iran to Israel. So that they knew that Israel would know that the attack was coming. They've been saying for the last about a week and a half that the attack was coming, so they would have knew that it was coming. And when they saw those drones, heading their way, they would know it was on. So they would have all their defenses up and be ready to go. If you're going to do an actual attack where you want to do a lot of damage, why would you send, the slowest thing you have, which is the drones, first to give warning? Then why would you send the drones and then cruise missiles behind that? Why wouldn't you, if you had hypersonic missiles and you really wanted to cause damage, use like 2 hypersonic missiles and hit that base where the planes took off from that attacked the Iranian consulate in Syria? I mean, you could have done it with 2 missiles. And from what I've read on every source that I can find, they say the hypersonic missiles travels at such a speed that they can't be stopped by any conventional defense systems, like the Iron Dome. They can't be shot down. So why wouldn't you, if you had those, instead of launching a bunch of drones and cruise missiles, launch a couple of 3 hypersonic missiles at specific targets and show Israel we can hit you anywhere, we can take you down anywhere, and your defense is useless against us. But instead, they launched drones first, slow-moving drones, and no doubt they probably called up Israeli Defense Forces and, hey, we're going to launch this attack at such and such time. You'll see the drones when they take off, so know it's coming. We don't want to do this, but we're going to have to do this because our people here in Iran are getting upset because we haven't responded yet to what you all did to us in Syria and killed the 2 high-ranking generals and attacked our consulate. So we have to do something. We don't want to cause any damage. We are leave as minimal damage as possible, and we want to not escalate, but we have to do this to save face around, in our own country and around the world, to look tough, to blow some, our chest up, blow some smoke to look like we're actually doing something. But we don't want nothing to actually happen. We're going to do this. It's going to cause the least amount of damage possible, and then we're going to call it even, and we're going to go on, about our lives. That's probably the conversation. They're pretty close to that, in my opinion, they had before the drones were even launched from Iran. Because if you're going to cause damage, and actually want it to cause damage, and you have hypersonic missiles, why wouldn't you use a couple of those to actually hit those targets to show Israel and the world that you can't stop us? We have hypersonic missiles. We can hit you anytime, anywhere. Your defenses, doesn't matter. You are a setting target that we can hit anywhere in your country anytime we want to. But instead, they send the worst possible weapons towards Israel. Why? Because they didn't want to do any damage. It was all for show, in my opinion. When it first started happening, I was thinking, maybe they're sending these drones first, and they're going to send a hypersonic missile or two behind that. They're sending the drones to mask, the hypersonic missile before they get there. To be focused on these drones, and we even less likely to be able to stop, these hypersonic missiles we're going to send. But no, they just sent the drones and then some conventional rockets and missiles, cruise missiles and things like that, and they all got shot down according to everything I'm seeing from Israel. Who knows how many actually did. They lie so much on all sides. Iran's going to lie, Israel's going to lie, United States are going to lie. All we get is the propaganda, so it's difficult to tell what actually happened, how much damage it actually caused. But if we're getting the facts, and they actually attacked the way we're being told they attacked, then Israel if Israel's telling the truth, which with the attack they launched, that we're being told they launched it with the drones and things and the cruise missiles, then more than likely Israel did shoot majority of those down with the Iron Dome system and the United States Navy and everything there helping them. And I think Jordan actually helped also. So they knew it wasn't going to cause any damage, but they're trying to save face. Now what happens next depends on what Israel does. And I thought for a long time that Israel has wanted a war with Iran, or Iran, which is actually pronounced, I say Iran or Iran, depending on how my brain's working for that day. But it's actually pronounced Iran. However, that's getting off topic. They have wanted, in my opinion, Israel has wanted a war with Iran for a long time. But they want the United States to be there to back them up and NATO. So they have to make it look like, it's a response to an attack from Iran. I think that Iran wants it to be over, but I don't know if Israel actually does or not. Israel sees Iran as their biggest enemy in the region because, from what we're being told, they're the most powerful threat in that region as far as a threat to Israel. And they sponsor a lot of proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas in that area. So they want to get rid of Iran. So I think they've been trying to provoke this attack from Iran, but Iran didn't want to go all out with hypersonics and things like that because they didn't want to cause any real damage, because they hope they can save face with their own people and around the world that they actually did something in response to what Israel did, in Syria, when they attacked the consulate and killed the two high-ranking Iranian generals. But now, what happens next will depend on Israel, what Israel decides to do. And if Israel wants to escalate this, which I think they probably do because they want to get rid of Iran, because they see them as one of their biggest enemies in the region, and actually they are. So they want to get the United States drug into this because they want to destroy Iran also. They want Iran to go the same way as Libya and Iraq did. They want to crush that down so they're no longer a threat. And I can see why they want to do that, because that region is very unstable. But it's obvious that either Iran is much weaker than we thought with that piss poor attack they did last night, or they didn't actually want any damage and they wanted to be able to save face, but didn't want any more retaliation back from Israel and the United States into Iran, because they wanted to call a ceasefire and say, well, we're done, it's over with, so we're good now. So now, the court, the ball and the whole court is in the hands of Israel and the United States. So what are they going to do? If Israel wants to escalate, they will use what Iran did yesterday evening and last night. They will use that as the precedent for a larger attack from Israel onto Iran. And then we'll see another attack from Iran. And then it's going to be all out war. If Israel decides to retaliate for what happened last night, yesterday evening, then I think war will definitely break out, a wider war in the area. And I think that is what Israel actually wants, in my opinion. I think Iran would rather work through their proxies, but they had to save face, so they used the most pathetic things they could use yesterday to attack Israel. So we'll see what Israel decides to do. We should know, in a few days, because they don't want to have the international community forget about this. They'll build it up in the media, and then they will attack, I think, in a few days if they're planning on doing that. Or they will wait, a few weeks or something else happens somewhere, maybe a false flag happens, so they can actually attack, because they want this war, in my opinion, because they want to limit the power of Iran and all the proxies of Iran in that area. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm Creekmore. I'm out here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.